How you doing, Shades Mountain Community Church? It's good to see you. We have an announcement from the elders we'd like to give you. There's obviously been ongoing and changing requirements and things with regard to how we've been meeting. I appreciate very, very much the way you've been tuning in to our worship services each week and a part of our time, even though it's been a little bit more online and virtual than we would like. And it wasn't an abrupt end. We all of a sudden one day in March, things started snowballing and we were trying to make decisions and we just stopped. And so it kind of really didn't end the way we would like for it to end. And honestly, as we look forward, and Governor Ivey has given us permission to be meeting again. We have met as elders a couple times now and met just the other day again. And we've really been considering what we are to do. And so this has been our decision. Our decision is that we are going to open up this Sunday. And it's going to be a slow open. What I mean by that is we want everybody to come back and be a part of it, but we also want to be very, very careful with regard to the COVID-19 virus. It's a real virus. It's really a concern, and we want everybody to be very, very careful. We had really, in my mind, maybe I should say in my mind at least, a big dream that one day we'd all come back and say, it's open, and we'd have this big breakfast, and we'd have this great time of fellowship, and we'd be hugging each other's necks, and we'd pick up where we left off, and there'd just be this great big celebration. And I want to be honest and say, I think that will come, but I don't know when. In the meantime, we're going to begin to open up. And so we want you to, if you feel comfortable, to come back this Sunday. But things are going to be a lot different. We want you to know that everything we're doing is understanding that our goal is safety. We don't want anybody to be sick, and we don't want to be cavalier with your health. We want to make sure that we're doing things that follow the guidelines that they've given us, because I think even our government and our health officials want us to be safe too. Some of us naturally are a little bit more cavalier and we'll want to forge ahead. Others will be a little bit more reticent and a little bit slower to move forward. And so we're trying to take all of that into consideration. So we are going to be following the social distancing guidelines. I think we've all become extremely familiar with them, washing your hands, not shaking hands, bumping, and all those types of things that are there. We want to encourage you to follow those guidelines. And it's going to look different in some ways, but in that understanding, when you walk into the worship center on Sunday, the chairs are going to be arranged very, very differently. There'll be a place 6 feet apart. You and your family, if you have 2 in your family, grab a couple chairs, put them together. You have 4, grab them, put together. So there's be room for you to kind of rearrange the chairs as you come in. You'll see that when you're there. We're going to ask that there's some natural choke points of people in the church that we want to be careful about. The foyer, we're going to encourage you to come straight in the front doors and into the worship center where there's plenty of space. There's a lot of bathrooms. Sometimes if there's a line, go find another bathroom. Feel free to do that. But we don't want people congregating if possible, and we'll leave that up to your responsibility to act in that way. Encourage you to wear a mask if you'd like. If you are really concerned and you're at risk and you want to be here and you really want to be masked and only be around other people with masks, we are reserving the balcony for people with masks only. So if you are really concerned that way and only want to be around others with masks, the balcony will be for those who only have masks on the main floor. There may be people with masks and or without masks, and we encourage you to wear that mask if you'd like to do that. We're going to prop doors open so you don't have to touch them and things like that and bring you in. It's not going to be too terrible hot, so we're able to do that. We're working on the ways to make sure that the HVAC is taken care of on all those different things. Some things will be different. We're not going to be passing an offering plate. There'll be a place in the back for you to drop an offering if you'd like to do that. I encourage you to continue to give online and either text to give, whatever else that might be with regard to those things. There won't be any coffee served, so if you want coffee, you'll need to bring your own cup. Obviously, please don't pass your cup around and share it with anybody. It's your coffee, drink it on your own, and so forth. Another thing that we want to do is, because we're concerned, and we're hearing, and not concerned about this, but we're hearing that everybody's excited to come back, and we're excited to be back, and to do all that. But because of that and the size of our room and social distancing, what we're going to do is we're going to offer 2 services. So we're going to offer a service Saturday night at 6 p.m., and that does a couple things. One, that lessens the amount of people in the room at one time. 2, doing a Saturday night service rather than 2 Sunday mornings allows us the time to clean the building and everybody to leave. And if we did an 8 o'clock service and a 10:30 service, there's a potential of people trying to walk in and people trying to walk out. And so there's just certain considerations with regard to that allows us to do that. So Saturday night at 6, we'll have a service, and then Sunday morning at 10:30. And for those who decide not to come and want to stay home for a few more weeks or whatever, or you're at high risk and it's wise for you to stay home, we will be live streaming, as we always have, the 10:30 Sunday morning service. And so it'll be much like did before, and just like we've been doing on Sundays, we'll have just that normal hour and a half service that are there and so forth. Also, we want you to make the right decision for you. If you are at risk, if you are immune compromised, if you're in at-risk categories, did you know those? If you're above 65, if you have diabetes or heart conditions or some of those things, we encourage you to stay home. Watch on live stream. Be very conscious of that. We can't make those decisions for you, but we want to encourage you to be very, very careful. One of the things that I was really touched by in our elder meeting is that we said over and over again, we don't want people to be sick based upon decisions we made. We're ultimately not in control of your health, but we can only do what we can to help put the safeguards that we can in that, and yet continue to operate as God's people together and gathering and seeing each other. We want you to be considerate of one another. Some will wear masks, some won't. Some will be very conscious of touching and maintaining 6 feet. And we're asking everybody to be careful with regard to that for the sake of your brothers and sisters. And some of you have not, or have been, I should say, together in some other venues already, and you're very comfortable with that. But please be careful or considerate with regard to that. There will be no first hour Sunday school classes or equipping hours or anything like that meeting. There'll be no children's church. There'll be no nursery. Now, the nursery will have a little bit open just in case for some reason you need to run down and change a diaper, or a mother needs to nurse. There'll be some places available for you in that limited capacity. We are asking that the back of the worship center be reserved for the families with young children as they are in the service for the first time, maybe for many of them, and they need to work through some of those training processes, as well as they may need to slip out and run to the restroom or whatever they need to do. So that allows that. So if you're here and you don't have young children and you're not going to sit in the balcony, please feel free to move closer to the front and reserve that for those families as well. We will continue to do a Wednesday evening live teaching. I'll continue to teach because we don't have all the other venues of the Word of God in our lives that we would normally have, whether it's Steve Meeks or Shane or Jim Johnson, whatever those classes might have been, as well as the Wednesday night classes or Sunday evenings that we would do. We want to continue to provide for you some a time of worship and instruction in God's Word. So we'll continue at Wednesday nights at 7 to broadcast a sermon, and we'll work through that hour. So you can continue to expect that. The daily encouragements will come to an end this Friday. And however, Matt and Jonathan will continue to do all the things that they're doing for high school and middle school. We will look forward to slowly but surely opening up the rest of the church as we feel comfortable, as we watch what's going on and things take place. We have no timetable for that. And so we're going to be very careful looking forward and see the church and its response and begin to do that slowly. And I'd have no dates to say, well, the 9 o'clock hour will open at this date. We have not determined any of that yet. We're just going to get in the flow of being back together again and find our comfort within this. And I want you to know that we're going to send out an email talking about all these things so you have something in writing to fall back and or you can just replay the video and fast forward to the important part. A lot of thanks, first of all, for your response to what we've been doing for the last 2 months. I have a greater appreciation for this body, our love and care for one another. I think there's a growing anticipation and excitement about getting together again. Like I said before, I wish there was just this massive group hug, but that's not proper, right, and wise at this time. And so we're going to do what we can, measured and moving forward. I can't wait to see everybody, and even if it's from an arm's distance away, just seeing people's eyes are going to make my heart excited, and I hope it will you too. So we look forward to seeing you Sunday. Thank you.
With our move to 2 services, we wanted to ask that you would do 2 things as we pick back up with meeting here at our church. The first thing is we would ask you to consider coming to our Saturday evening service. I know for Sunday mornings, it is a better time for maybe families with small children or maybe people who aren't as comfortable traveling at night, and we understand that. And obviously that's just kind of the norm of our regular meeting time. So it kind of makes sense that people would want to come on Sunday. So if you're able and you can, we would ask that you come on Saturday night just to make sure that Sunday morning services are not overloaded with people. So if you can come Saturday at 6 o'clock, we would love it if you would kind of try and make that a priority, knowing that Sunday morning is going to be probably the bigger draw, and we want to try and kind of thin our services out so they're not all kind of congested in one service. The second thing is that if you are planning on coming, you do not need to get a ticket or anything like that. We would ask you just to let us know if you're coming. You can do that really simply by going to our website, smcc.church, and right when you get there, you'll see a way to register for the service. It just lets us know who's coming to which service so we can be better prepared and make sure that we're able to handle the people coming to our service. We can't wait to have you guys with us this weekend and looking forward to getting to worship together again. Thanks.